Hello and welcome to the Rose Rehash. That's right. Every Tuesday night after the Bachelorette, we give our big story from the show. I'm going to give out some categories and then we're going to do the Batchies, my awards section where I give out roses and divorce papers. It's a recap show, people. We're going to go over tonight's episode, which was fun. Michelle's episodes seem to move. They're just moving quickly and they're fun and they're light and they have their drama. It just has a little bit of feels like I'm at a charcuterie board of an episode. I get a little taste of drama. I get a little taste of love. I get a little taste of fun. And I've been, for the most part, enjoying it. Episode 3 came at us. I mean, let me, before we get started, before I get to tonight's big story, I want you to subscribe. I want you to comment and let me know if you agree or disagree. I think that's a big part of the show and it's interactive. And then I want you to like it or don't like it. Give me play with the YouTubes, as they say, and subscribe to my channel. And also, if you're going to be in Toledo, Ohio this weekend, I'm coming there. I got live shows. Go to jaredfreid.com. Toledo, Buffalo, Syracuse, and St. Louis. Those are all on the calendar. Let's go to tonight's big story, which is Confrontation. Confrontation is the theme tonight because last week we had Jamie set it all up where he's the rat. He's the one who, and if we can go back to something, I like to pat myself on the back every now and again. I told you, ego, insecurities. This was going to be the fall of a man named Jamie. And it showed tonight. Even one of the guys looked at Jamie and they go, "Are you intimidated by Joe, who has the history with Michelle?" That's not even really a history. It's a DM conversation that barely even happened, as we're coming to find out. So he goes, "Do you have an issue with Joe?" And he goes, and you could see just all over his face, just getting called out for insecurities. But that's what happened tonight that was so beautiful. On the Bachelorette, when it's the group of men, these confrontations happen fast, quick, and hard. We saw it with Will and Peter. Will and Peter are having a legit argument. Their second one in as many episodes. Their second just face off. And when Will gets the jacket, Peter's looking at him and talking shit, and they're talking in front of everybody. But what's nice about the Bachelorette is when it's the group of men, everyone just like, you guys go. You got an issue, you go. You even saw all the men got up around Will and Peter. They all stood up. And they were like, you take care of this. You guys have a problem. I am not getting involved. And it happened later in the episode because the Jamie story on this show could have been drawn out to a 6-episode arc. You had Jamie kind of manipulating Michelle on one-on-one cases and then coming back to the group and telling a whole different story. So when Rich gets the news that Jamie is telling these stories to Michelle that isn't happening in the house, he goes to like 4 other guys and he goes, "Here's the information I got." And Nate looks at him and goes, "Well, I'm not talking behind someone's back. Let's get it done now." And then they go. That's it. Bring it on. No, I'm not going to take sides before I know the story. It was actually refreshing to see this. And they said, we're going to bring him up, get his story, and it fell very quickly. The house made of cards came toppling down because Jamie had no explanation. You just saw the other guys like, "Oh, you're lying to us. You're creating a story." I just loved how this was hashed out as soon as people found out. And not to compare, but I'm comparing on The Bachelor, when it's all the women in the house, it seems as though those confrontations kind of take side doors. It's never just right down the middle. Let's hit them between the forehead. And let's say, "Hey, Jamie, what's the story? We know it this way. We're hearing this way. You give us your side." And then it's over. And Michelle, is kind of freed by this. You could see it. She goes, "I got rid of the guy I couldn't trust." He gets walked right out. There's no explanation. Jamie, who's that type of person, who is the type of person who's going behind people's backs, gets flushed out, and now the house can live on free of Jamie's kind of puppet and mind games. Let's go to the superlative categories of the night. Do you need new pants? Chris G, do you need new pants? You literally shit yourself when you saw a slam poet. Listen, we all have our interests. We all have the things we like, but you reacted like Beyonce showed up. You reacted like Taylor Swift was doing an acoustic performance and you were wearing a Taylor Swift t-shirt. There's one of these things where it's like, it's an interesting thing. When someone is around new people, they want to let everyone know who they are without having to go through the work of living that part. And it kind of felt like what Chris G is doing. I'm not saying he's not a fan of this slam poet, but I am saying he laid it on thick. He's like, well, what? He's here? Do you guys know who that is? And it's like, are we supposed to be impressed that you know who it is? Are we supposed to be like, oh, you're like in the slam poetry world? Like, there's a way to react would be like, I guess the way to react is like, oh, this guy's really good. Like, he went to another level. It was almost like he was trying to show Michelle how into slam poetry he was from across the room. Like, he couldn't go up to her and be like, he's like, I'm a huge fan. Like, he had to go, she was all the way over there and he's like, oh, 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 oh. He's waiting on Michelle to be like, Chris, do you know him? Are you more cultured than us? Let's go to, are you okay? Will, are you okay? I understand you got in a confrontation with Peter. It's very emotional. You're there for a woman that you want to get to know, and this guy seemingly is in your way. But it's a jacket that you got 10 minutes ago. The tears, the guy throwing your jacket in the water isn't really the most crushing of disses. Like, to me, you got him so well that you have to expect that his comeback to your calling him, what'd you call him? You said that he was, you said that he was a narcissist. Like, yours was smart. Yours was fun. Of course, a dummy like Peter is going to go throw your jacket in the water. Of course. So the tears, the jacket is going to get dry cleaned and you're going to be okay. It's going to be fine. The tears, you got to wonder, like, if it takes that little, you're on episode 3, dating a woman you've spoken to for like 20 minutes, and you're crying over the jacket as if it was a gift from your grandma that she passed down to you after she passed away. It was a lot, Will. The last one is, you're going to get crushed. Now, on You're Going to Get Crushed, these are people that are falling very hard for Michelle that are not going to win. I'm sorry. Brandon and Rodney, you're both not going to win. You had good episodes tonight. Brandon, you've already received 2 roses. Rodney, you got 1 tonight. I think you guys are good dudes who I like watching on the show. But Brandon, I think it's going to come out that you're too young and not ready for this. And you seem like someone that's falling for a woman that you've never met before. And you can see it. Brandon is in for this. And he's like, oh my God. It seems like they're falling hard for 2 different reasons. Brandon's sitting there like, this is someone like because he's 25. He's probably been met every woman he's ever met over DMing at bars. And at bars he's going, what? You want to come home? Like, he's done this his whole life. And this is you could feel like this is the first time he's really had an emotional connection with a woman, and he's going head over heels, but I don't think he wins. I don't think him and Michelle are really a match. Then Rodney, his is a different reason. Rodney, it feels like he's just happy-go-lucky, feels like he's lucky to be there, and he even talks about it a lot, how he's always the underdog, and he's just going to bring his fun personality, and it felt like a friend zone thing tonight. But I do believe they both are falling for Michelle, and I think they're going to get crushed. Let's go to the Batches. We're going to do the Batches. You get roses to my favorite of the episode, and divorce papers to my least favorite of the episode. Let's start with the divorce papers. My first divorce paper is going to go to Top Gun 2. Doesn't look like it's going to be a good movie. I don't know. These guys came on to promote their movie. There was no point where I was like, I need to watch how these guys fly planes. I'm not excited for the movie. It didn't really need a sequel. I'm happy that Tom Cruise is in it. I get we make these things because it's nostalgic and it makes us think of better times, but I have no faith that Top Gun 2 is going to be a great movie. And, where do we find the fun of Goose? Like that character's gone. So we're going to have to find another Goose that we fall in love with in an hour and a half. I don't see it happening for Top Gun 2. The second is for jackets. I didn't realize a jacket could retain that much water. The jacket was thrown into the pool. I mean, that jacket, you can't bring it in the rain. It is lost. If anything, that jacket can be worn on one occasion. Light, windy, that's a summer jacket, I guess, and on a windy day. You're getting 3 weeks out of that jacket. The minute it went in the pool, I'm like, this isn't, what storm is this protecting you from? This jacket is all fashion, no function, and the pool kind of made it look bad. The last divorce paper is going to go to Jamie. Jamie, did you not know the mic runs at all hours of the day on this show? Do you have no idea that when you pull a producer over, that's not the same as like a timeout, like your Zach Morris on Saved by the Bell? Like time doesn't stop for you. How delusional are you to think that you're not everything you're saying is being, held against you, towards in when they air this episode? He pulled the producer over. He looks at me. He's like, "Is this the nationwide search?" And it's like, dude, are you trying to get kicked off this show? Or are you trying? It didn't even seem like he was trying to be a villain. It just felt like he revealed the person he is. Let's go to the roses. First rose is going to go to the string band. Martin receives a rose from Michelle. She brings him over for a special surprise, and a string quartet is playing Take My Breath Away. I have to say, the string band outdid any artist that they've brought onto the show to promote them as if they're a famous person. It was beautiful. It was fun. They're playing a song that you don't expect on a string quartet. It was truly made every artist that's ever come on the show look bad and not fun. The string quartet should stay forever, or we bring in the prom band from Bachelor in Paradise. Those are the only two bands I want to see for the rest of this show. Next rose goes to Rodney. I loved Rodney tonight, even though I don't think he's going to end up with Michelle. I would watch Rodney's Bachelor. If he was the Bachelor, I would love it because he just had this fun. He really did seem like he is there to meet a woman. I don't know if he cares if it's Michelle or not. I think he really wants to meet his match. And right now he's sitting with Michelle and having a great time, I'm sure. But I'm saying it feels like Rodney would go on a show very ready to take on any woman and to meet them and be fun with them. And I liked Rodney. The last rose goes to the producers. People blame the producers a lot for a lot of the things that go on in this show, but they rarely get credit. The producers need credit for letting Jamie just talk. They turn the cameras on and they go, "Keep going, buddy," and they never stopped rolling. And the producers just let a guy talk who was gonna take the rope and really choke himself with it, because that's what Jamie did at every turn. Every time Jamie talked, every time he lifted a glass, every time he did the slam poetry, every time he's sitting on the couch, he revealed his insecurities, and there really wasn't a lot of editing needed. You got to give the producers credit. That's our episode. We'll be back next week. Boom.